All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and salutations to the brothers that are pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity. All right, I'm coming at you with another lesson. This time I'm going into what today is September 16th, 2020. And it marks the day of Mexican independence. You know, these Mexicans out here, celebrating Mexican Independence Day, when really it's nothing but a great big joke on them, man. Because in reality, what independence? There is no independence. All right. These Mexican people, which, they come from the tribe of Issachar, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, God's chosen people. What they failed to realize is that this independence didn't mark their independence, the common folk people, but in fact, it was the independence of the Spaniard descendants who conquered you all. All right. It was their independence from Spain, because they had to pay homage. They had to send money back to Spain, from all the slavery and all the, all the money that they made on this side of the land. And they didn't want to do that anymore. All right. So came the Mexican War of Independence, and it was just these Edomites, these Spaniards, Spaniard descendants getting independence from Spain. But now, our people confuse that as their independence from Spain. But no, the colonizers are yet still in fact here today. All right, so I'm gonna start here. It says the War of Independence was an armed conflict and political process lasting from 1808 to 1821, resulting in Mexico's independence from Spain. So there you go. It wasn't the indigenous people here of Spain, trying to get independence. No, it was the Spaniard rulers, colonizers, who didn't want to pay Spain anymore. All right. It says it was not a single coherent event, but local and regional struggles that occurred within the same time period and can be considered a revolutionary civil war. So if we go into it, you could read more into it, but really what it's all attributed to is Miguel Hidalgo's cry, that supposedly he's supposed to be the father of the nation or whatnot. But if you go into his information, Miguel Hidalgo Costilla, there he goes, and you look into his early years, right? I had it down here, early years. It says Hidalgo was a second born child of Don Cristobal Hidalgo y Costilla Espinosa de los Monteros and Doña Ana Maria Gallaga Mandarte Villaseñor, both criollos. All right. So his parents were criollos. When you go into criollos, it says criollo, pronounced criollo, are Latin Americans who are of sole or mostly Spanish descent. Much ancestry distinguishes them both from multiracial Latin Americas and from Latin America of post-colonial and not necessarily Spanish Europe immigration origin. Edomites always gotta throw some bullshit in there, but they're criollos, man. All right. Salakia. Well, this is going into criollos. Okay, so yeah, pretty much it's Latin Americans whose lineage goes back to the Spaniards. All right, which at that time a lot of them were Edomites, man. All right, so let's keep going. I have this chart here. It says the social structure of Spanish colonies. All right, so you have the top where you have the fewest people and they have the most power. and all the way in the bottom they have the least power but the most people. All right, and this was going on in the Spanish colonies and Mexico, and all the lands that the Spanish were trying to overtake. All right, so the first ones are the Peninsulares. These are the Edomites that were born in Spain, the Spaniards, who traveled here and began their conquest. All right, and as they were doing their conquest, they had children, and those children were called creoles or criollos, like we just read. All right, people of European descent, born in the colonies. They were born here in Latin America, so you could say that they were quote unquote Mexican, or Latin Americans, but they were in fact descendants of those Spaniards. All right, let's get a scripture, because this is important, because in the scriptures, it tells you, all these titles, they don't really matter, because these Edomites, what they do is that they infiltrate different nations and they call themselves after that same name. So you can see that in South Africa, these Edomites went in there and now they're called South Africans, but the indigenous of those people are a dark skinned race, but they call themselves South Africans, and they have pale flesh where their blood shows forth through their skin. Same thing in Australia. The indigenous people of Australia are not these Edomites, man. All right, and this is exactly what happened in Mexico too. This is why Mexicans, or you Issachaриtes, get confused and think that you guys got independence of Spain, but no, it was actually your colonizers who got independence from Spain. So this Numbers 1:18, it says, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees," right, their lineage, "after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upwards, by their polls," man. And that's why you have the customs of when people get married, they take on the man's last name, and the children take the last name as well, because that's the lineage. It's according to the father. That's in the scriptures. That's the way that the Lord has set it up. Okay, so the reason I want to bring it there, because as we go down from creoles or criollos, you start to see what we have today, and what starts most of the confusion. Why a lot of people are confused today and they don't know where they come. They'll say, "Oh, well, I'm like such and such percent Spaniard and such indigenous." No, there's no. You just saw me read it. The pedigrees was according to the fathers. It didn't say nothing about percentage. All right. So once you go down from creoles or criollos, all right, you get mestizos, mulattoes, that goes into the so-called Negroes. Right here it says Africans, but we know that the Israelites went to the west coast of Africa, and that's where they took the Negroes from to serve slavery. All right, so we know that they're not Africans; they're Negroes. They're Israelites from the tribe from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom of Israel. But on the left side here, you have the mestizos. These are people of Native American and European descent. So they're trying to mix them up, which in this group, you are going to have, you have two types of people. You have Edomites, who come from the descendants of the Creoles and the Peninsulares. And you also have natives. You have Israelites of the northern kingdom, which in Mexico, you would the majority of them would be Issacharites. All right, so you have Issacharites and you have Edomites. All right, because there's no such thing as mixed people. You are what your father is. So if your line comes from the Peninsulares, then you're an Edomite. But as you can see here, what does it say in the bottom? It says the most people are down here, which are the Native Americans and the people of African descent, which is the so-called Negroes. You Judites, Benjamins, and Levites. All right. So what you're gonna have in the mestizos, which a lot of Mexican people today they'll characterize themselves as mestizos. What you have in mestizos is a majority of Native Americans. you know, the native people, the majority native people with mingled in Edomites, man. That's what you have. All right. Because if you go into, you know, if you just go online, but this is common. You can see this if you ever go to Mexico, or people who live in Mexico, they know this to be true. The majority of the people are brown skin looking people, as you can see here. All right, I had a better one. Here's a good one. All right, the majority of the people are brown skin looking people because their father goes back to the native indigenous people of the land. All right, but on the you know, and like I said, there's Edomites sprinkled among them, right? And guess where they're at? And I just did a simple Google search. This is rich people in Mexico, and look at this, Edomites. All right, it's not, you know, brown skinned people like you saw that are the common folk, but the people that are in authority, the people who have a whole the bags of money are these Edomite descendants, man. All right, so what independence, man? You know, last I checked, the indigenous people, the common folk, are poor, man. So what independence, man? Last I checked, they're still following Spaniard customs, man. All right, you know, and I'm that's not to say that there's no rich indigenous people of Edomites. They love to have that token colored folk amongst them to try to say that they're not racist or they're not, you know, taking away opportunities from the people. But, you know, for the majority of them, they're Edomites, man. Look at this guy, man. You gonna tell me this guy's not an Edomite, man? He's not a so-called a white man, all right? A descendant of the Peninsulares and Creoles? Come on, man. You know? But here it is. You know, you got Mexican Independence Day. Let's look that up. And look at who's celebrating, man. All right, Slovakia. All right, who's celebrating it? Is you regular days? Issacharites, man. All right, not knowing that it's not your independence, man. All right, it's the rulers over you who got independence, man. All right. You guys are the majority of the people there, but you guys are not the ones that are controlling the money. It's these Peninsulares Creoles, man, the ones with the most power. If you look up on top of the chart, man. All right, so it's all a big joke, man. You know, they got you guys the same thing that they do here in America. They got these holidays to try to get people to, you know, be pacified and forget about their day-to-day struggles, that they're not, you know, living as slaves where you got to get up and go render to Caesar to go work to put food on your table, you know, for these multi you know, billion-dollar corporations, man. All right, or, you know, to help move their economies, man. All right, because last I checked, the people that are in authority, you know, were not those common dark-skinned people, man. Okay, you know, and that's just a telltale sign too. All right, because you know, it could be that you're a descendant from a native person, but then those native persons kept having children with Edomite women, white-looking women, and so your seed looks more paler and paler, but you still come from that native person. So, you know, but those are a lot fewer and in between, you know. But I just want to throw that disclaimer. So not necessarily because you look quote unquote white or pale, you know, doesn't mean that you're necessarily an Edomite. You know, it's not a color thing; it's a spiritual thing. All right, but it's a good indicator to go off of, you know. But then after that, you gotta test the spirit. You know, whether they come in the spirit of coming up against the Most High, like most Edomites do, you know, or do they accept the word of the Lord, which the elect of Israel is gonna receive, man. Because at the end of the day, 2/3 of even of our people aren't going to receive the Lord. And that's written in Zechariah. All right. So, and if that's the case, then you could count them as a heathen as well, because they're, they're not going to serve the Lord. All right. So I'm going to finish it off with these last few precepts. This is Hosea 13:16. It says, Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. And that's exactly what happened during the time of the conquest, man. These Edomites came over here, and Samaria, is the capital of the northern kingdom. All right, where you so-called Latino and Latin tribes come from all the Americas. North includes the Native Americans, the central and southern natives. All right. This is what happened when they came. They took the women that were pregnant, and and their children were ripped up from them. All right. You can't forget what these Edomites did to you. All right, because the Lord hasn't forgotten. He said he requires that which is past. Let me get that. This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past, man. So he hasn't forgotten, man. Was it Isaiah 14:21? It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. Now, we know that we got to patiently wait on the Lord for this judgment to come, because he's going to be the one that makes the first move. He says, wait upon him, for vengeance is his. But Thessalonians says it is a righteous thing with the Most High to seek tribulation for them that trouble thee, man. All right. And, that's the same thing in Revelations. It says, those that led into captivity are going to go into captivity. All right. And these people have not paid for the atrocities that they've done to the native people and the so-called Negroes, man. The Southern Kingdom, man. All right. These people have not paid, man. And they lie to us now and say that we're independent, when really they're in control of all the resources, and they still have us under oppression. All right. These people are devils, man, and they're going to pay, man. All right. I'm going to finish it off right here. Second Esdras. We go through this scripture a lot, but for those who haven't heard it, for their sakes, I read it. This is Second Esdras 13:40. Those are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoners out of their own land at the time of Hosea the king. This is the northern kingdom. All right. Well, I mentioned the southern kingdom, which is Benjamin, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right. But the other 10 tribes, which Dan got done away with, so it's really the 9 tribes. All right. It says those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. All right. So this is when the northern kingdom was taken into captivity under the Assyrians. It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So we know that we were the first inhabitants of the Americas, man. The known world back in the day was over in Europe, Middle East, Asia, Africa, but people didn't know about the Americas, man. Right? And we were the first ones to dwell here where never mankind had dwelt, and then, you have the Las Lunas stones in New Mexico with the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the 10 Commandments, man. The fact that we wear gavanes with fringes on the bottom, that's an ancient Israelite custom, man. All right. The fact that we're so zealous and we fill up all the churches shows that we're those people, man, that we have a zeal of God, though not according to knowledge, man. You know, the knowledge is coming out now. Okay, so you guys are the people, man. You know, don't let them fool you into think that you have independence, man. You know, the Lord, when He comes back, He's gonna free us from the grip of these Edomites, man. These Creoles, man. You know, these people who abuse our people, man. All right, to who use us for profit, and you know, in reality, still have us in slavery, man. Still have us in captivity, because we got the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, man. You know, that's not a new concept. That's been going on. All right. So with that, you know, hope the elect out there was edified. You know, I'm gonna end by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kohakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and salutations to the brothers too that are pushing forth this word in truth and in sincerity. Unto the next one, brothers, I say shalom and a baba ball.